How can Harare be able to deliver water required by the city if electricity is ring-fenced for water production? As cases rise in the country, with the capital now the new epicenter, it is a fact that power must always be available to ensure water and sanitation. But at what point will the city also take responsibility and highlight all the challenges they are facing? In the following report, Mirain Singo gives us more on the cholera outbreak and challenges facing the city.
Harare City treatment plants have a target of producing 536 megaliters of water daily. But this has not been the case. Early this year, the city confirmed that production was hovering around 390 megaliters. This has meant that some suburbs are going for days without water before service is restored temporarily. It spells doom in the face of the cholera outbreak, which has already claimed 35 lives. The city says power cuts have greatly contributed to the current situation.
We use 24 megawatts per day at Moton Jeffrey, plus 6 megawatts per day and so forth for other operations. Now this is the electricity we were using to pump water to the residents.
As of Monday to date, the country has 1,285 suspected cases, with 149 hospitalized. Harare has the highest number of hospitalized cases, standing at 45. In the last 24 hours, the country recorded 22 new suspected cases. This is despite the fact that government insists water treatment plants are exempted from power cuts.
Let me confirm now that we do not switch off water during shutdown in security places, in water pumping stations, and other sensitive areas that can cause a security or public health hazard. If there is a power outage, it is maybe due to a fault.
Two contrasting answers to a situation that could lead to loss of lives. ZTN Prime gathered that load shedding remains a factor, but the city's efficiency also looms large. Chemicals to treat the water have been a big challenge for them, with the city apportioning blame to suppliers. Reduced water production therefore also works to their advantage as they try to hide the inefficiency. Outdated water pipes, more often leading to pipe bursts, for example, have been another factor. The biggest question is, can authorities work together for the common good?
Harare City spokesperson Innocent Rwende insisted that load shedding is a big factor.
Council, just like any other institution, is affected by the incessant power cuts from ZESA. What we've actually written to ZERA, because we are complaining that every time there's a power cut, we have to restart our machines, and this has been driving up the cost of electricity for us, and even all our institutions. What we are now trying to do is we are trying to solarize all our clinics, all our council facilities, so that we avert the cost of those ZESA power cuts.
Now, earlier on, we spoke to public health expert Friday CAT to get more on the importance of water sanitation.
We need to address the public health fundamentals, provision of water, and also issues around sanitation. It is important that as a country we avoid a situation whereby we go back to what happened in 2008 and 2009. We need to make sure that communities, are given, health education and awareness in terms of addressing, cholera cases at community level. Things like salt and sugar solution, they also need to be, impacted, that kind of information, at the household level. We also need to make sure that communities, address the issue of high levels of hygiene. Because of the heavy rains that we got this year, most of the water sources are now contaminated. We are aware that our local authorities are failing, to give people water. So as a result, people are looking for alternative sources of water. And these are mostly the unprotected shallow wells, which have also been contaminated by the rainwater. So it is important that communities, they treat the water with suspicion by making sure that they boil the water before use. And where possible, they also use aqua tablets to treat the water.
Itai Rusike also gave his analysis of if we as a country have the capacity to contain a full-blown outbreak, given the challenges that he also just highlighted.
I think what has happened in Malawi and Mozambique should be a wake-up call for us as Zimbabwe. We definitely need to also look at other measures. We know that generally people are struggling to access water, but I think it's also important for us to consider, the cholera vaccines. We are aware that at some point Zimbabwe introduced the typhoid vaccine to hotspots areas like Budiriro and Glenview. And we also need to do the same with this cholera outbreak, so that at least we don't just rely on single measures. So the cholera vaccine becomes another a public health measure that we need, especially at this stage.
Lastly, Itai Rusike also spoke about what's happening in neighboring Mozambique, the high death toll of cholera, as well as if we need any screening on our borders.
We know that our borders are very porous. There's a lot of human traffic between Zimbabwe and its neighboring countries. It is also something that we appreciate that Zimbabwe has been treating, those cholera cases that are coming from Mozambique and Malawi, because these are our neighbors and we need to show, solidarity and ubuntu. But I think what is important is that cholera is now here in Zimbabwe. As a country, we need to strengthen, our health systems so that we are able to also respond to the cases that we already have here, in the country. But I think most importantly, let us strengthen the prevention and control measures so that we then don't have an escalation of the cholera cases. I think as a country, we also need to prioritize, the water treatment plants in terms of excluding them, from load shedding.